Okay.
Good morning, Wargamers. Doug here from 2 Plus Tough with a very special video that I am very excited about. I'm going to be talking about these soon. In case you didn't see the Black Library announcement, the announcement on Warhammer community page from Black Library, they have announced that they're doing a big series of novellas that cover pretty much all of their settings and universes, I guess you could say, where it's, I believe, Necromunda, 40k, and Age of Sigmar. What this turns into is one set of 10 novellas, and 4 of those are specifically for AOS. Now, I'll be honest with you, I was a bit confused when the announcement came. I thought they were saying it was going to be like a big wave sequentially of novellas, so like we would get one, and then in the second wave we get a second, and I didn't realize like 4 were coming out all at once. But lo and behold, when I went to the store to pick up my one novella, there was 4 of them for $5 each, so I went ahead and snagged them all, and that's going to be what we talk about in the next couple of videos. Now here's the thing, I talk about lore a lot on this channel, as you might expect, but I don't really do a whole lot of specific book reviews. I kind of take apart battle tomes and things like that. I've only really reviewed one other book, and that's Nagash Undying King. So what I wanted to do before I jumped into all 4 of these suckers is kind of give my rubric for how I'm going to be grading them. If you're familiar with my Start Collecting box reviews, which is an entire playlist on this channel, go check them out. What I have is a rubric that I measure all Start Collecting boxes by. Just to save you some time so you don't have to go actually watch the videos. What I do is I look at the box, look at the contents, how it fits into the army, and then I really just ask 2 questions. Is this a good start to this specific army? Meaning, is it a good set of models that work well in the game in terms of synergy and getting a new player started well playing the actual game? And the second part of that question is, do these models represent the faction well? Meaning, do the Carriage Overlords are a shooty army? Are the models in that box shooty units? Beast of Chaos, are they Beast of Chaos-y? Is it a good variety of models that represent all the different kind of sub-factions in that army? Those kinds of things. Like, not only does it play well, but does it kind of fit the lore and give you an expression of what that army is supposed to be trying to present? Well, with these books, I want to be asking very similar questions. I'm going to kind of present in this video my rubric for which I will be going ahead and tackling all of these books. The first, and I think most important, kind of grading scale for these types of books, because they are so cheap in terms of just $5 for a cool little book with some nice cover art, is the question is, does this give you a good flavor of the universe it's trying to represent? I will eventually pick up the 40k ones, but in this series, obviously, I'm more focused on Age of Sigmar because I'm very excited about that. The idea being, obviously, someone is not going to walk into Games Workshop for the first time in their lives, pick this up, and have a full, deep, conclusive understanding of the Mortal Realms. Not going to happen. But they can get enough flavor out of it to get excited to learn more, and that really is what I want to drive home. So that's going to be my first question is, does this give you a taste of the setting enough to that, if you are interested, want to learn more? The second measurement I'm going to grade these books by is if they get you excited about a particular faction. The thing about Black Library books is they're generally in support of model ranges, meaning they always push you towards investing in an army and building narrative around the models and things like that. So for example, in War Queen, which is, as you can tell, is probably one I'm very excited about because I love Chaos Undivided, does this book get me pumped to play my Slaves to Darkness or any Chaos Forces, really? Because I can see on the back, it is a Dark Oath band that is generally devoted to Tzeentch. That's super important. Even though, obviously, they can still be unaligned and be Dark Oath and be their own thing, some people can still dedicate themselves to a god within that. And we'll talk about devoted in another video, but the idea being, does this make me want to go out and buy a specific army? Because the idea is, you walk in, you learn a little bit about the world, and you immediately want to invest in it and start playing this game. So really the question is, not only can you get excited about the setting, does it drive you to be excited about factions, about armies, about models? The third part of it is less, more of a hard and fast rule, but just generally, do you give me some fun concepts? By this I mean, you can read a lot of Stormcast books where it's a lot of, people call it sword and shield porn, where it's just epic battle after epic battle and there's no real character arc. And then you read some books that contain Stormcast Eternals, and they talk about the nature of the soul and what it means to be eternal and lose a bit of yourself every time you die, to keep dying all these times and what that does to you, like very internal, deep, next level kind of stuff, which I find far more interesting. I want to know, in these tiny books, do they go deeper than like sword and shield porn, as it's called? For example, in War Queen, do they give me a sense of what Dark Oath are like and to differentiate themselves from other Chaos factions? And do they talk about the struggle in trying to see the gods as a pantheon rather than focusing on one? There is a book in this series that features Gotrek. If you don't know, Gotrek is a character from Warhammer Fantasy Battles that in an audio drama that just came out recently was kind of ripped from the old world to here, and he's struggling to understand the mortal realms. This and the audio drama are perfect ways for Warhammer Fantasy Battle players to come back because you're learning with him. Does this book let you learn with him, or is it just him fighting a bunch of monsters? Again, you see what I'm saying, where are they very surface level in terms of just their combat books, which is fine, and that definitely hits the button for some people, but I'm more interested in, does it give me a reason to be invested? Does it give me a sense of, like, does it make it real? Are these interesting characters? Are there character arcs? Do people develop over time? Those kinds of things that are kind of hard to measure, but you know it when you see it. Again, that just kind of fits in more like the general review of authorship kind of thing. And lastly, do I think that they are a good value? Which I'm going to be upfront and say each one of these books is $5, so they have to be pretty bad to be a bad value. For me, $5 for a printed book with some cool cover art is kind of tough to beat, but we'll check it out. Really briefly, in this first wave of novellas, we have War Queen by Darius Hinks, and this one features a Dark Oath, which is kind of a newer faction we're all getting lots of hints about. Dark Oath warband that's kind of devoted to Tzeentch, and they interact a lot with a different warbands devoted to Khorne. So we're looking for a lot of chaos versus chaos action here. That's going to be kind of fun. Next one is this next one, yeah. The Red Hours by Evan Dicken, and this one features a disgraced Free Guild hero that gets sent basically as a punishment to be the, I don't know, captain of the guard at some prison, and things go to hell pretty darn quickly and he has to survive. It goes from like being make it through out of here and then to survive. So that sounds. The next one here is The Bone Desert by Robbie McNiven, and it is a Gotrek Gunnarsson story, as I said before. I'm very interested to see this one because it doesn't really fit in with the others. None of the other ones seem to be named characters, so this will be very specific, and I'm very excited about that for reasons I mentioned earlier. And the last one is Heart of Winter by Nick Horth. Nick Horth has done some great books for AOS, and I'm excited to see what he does here. I can't quite tell what this young lady is supposed to be. Even on the back it just says Fleet Master. But I'm very excited to learn more about this, especially if it means kind of be on the lookout for new pirate-looking models, and I would love that. All in all, basically how the reviews are going to go is I'm going to introduce the book, the text that comes in the back to see what new players would be reading before they buy something like this, and then give a brief review of the story. Spoilers will be a part of that, but I'll give a warning in advance. And then kind of break down the syllabus I just talked about. Is it a good introduction to the setting? Is it a good introduction to a specific army? And does it get you excited about reading more? And like, is it an in-depth book, or is it just sword and shield porn? But the reason I'm making this video to announce these things is because I wanted to ask you, friends, what are things that you want to hear about in these books? If you have specific questions on any one of these, leave it in the comments down below, and I will address those at the end of those respective reviews. If you have a suggestion on another, I don't know, method to criticize these things, not criticize, but critique, meaning what else you think is important for these books to accomplish, leave a suggestion down below and I'll take a look. So thank you all so much for your suggestions and your ideas, and I look forward to seeing you in my reviews.